Easy now. First things first. What's your name?
In Alan Wake 2, Alan Wake and Saga Anderson's stories are intertwined with each other, with Alan appearing at regular intervals during each of Saga's chapters, giving her hints to follow and clues to investigate. At multiple points during Saga's story, Alan's echo will appear in front of her, allowing the two to partially communicate through a hazy connection while he's trapped in the dark place. Communication is difficult, however, as Alan's words are mostly obfuscated and tough to make sense of. Shift on over to Alan's story and you'll get the inverse. At the climax of some of Alan's chapters, he'll see Saga's echo and talk to her. This time, with Saga's words not making it completely through to Alan. So, with the two stories overlapping and interconnected, players might get confused about which order they should play the game in for the best cohesive throughline. After reaching a later point in the campaign, you'll be able to play Alan Wake 2 in any order you choose by switching between Saga and Alan's stories through a puddle across the multiple janitors' break rooms scattered across the game. You can even mainline Alan's side of the story in the dark place if you so choose, with the caveat of a hard stop late in Alan's campaign, forcing you to switch on over to Saga to catch up to the events of the game. However, if you're jumping back and forth between Alan's story of initiation and Saga's story of return, making sense of the two's overlapping narratives can be somewhat difficult. The reality, as far as we can tell, is that the communication between Saga and Alan is happening at the same time, just from different perspectives. When Saga is talking to Alan's echo from out in the real world, Alan is talking to Saga from the dark place at the same time, through the mysterious power of the overlap. This means that the real order of the story is that both Alan's and Saga's stories are happening concurrently. You can think of this much like Abby and Ellie's stories in The Last of Us Part 2, where events from one character's side of the story are happening at the same time as the others. The difference in Alan Wake 2 is that you have the agency to choose which side to focus on. You don't need to alternate between Saga and Alan's chapters to enjoy the story, but doing so frequently will help give you the most complete picture. While there's technically no right or wrong way to play through the chapters, we're suggesting the following chapter order, with minimal story spoilers, to give you the optimal experience. Without further ado, here is the best order to play the chapters in Alan Wake 2. However, if you think there's a better order to play Alan Wake 2 in, please make sure to let us know down in the comments below. And finally, some slight story spoilers for Alan Wake 2 ahead, so tread lightly, and maybe bring a flashlight. Alan Wake 2 begins with a prologue in Bright Falls, where you play as the long-lost Agent Nightingale. It's short, but it sets up the events and forthcoming investigation from the FBI for the rest of the game. Return 1 is the first in a series of chapters with Agent Saga and Agent Casey journeying into the small Pacific Northwest town of Bright Falls, following reports of a murder matching a string of crimes under their investigation. It also functions as Remedy's tutorial for the gameplay shift into survival horror and for techniques like the Mind Place. Note that for the next several chapters, the game will automatically switch between the two stories of Alan and Saga up until the end of a later section. As of right now, you don't have the choice to pick which character to follow just yet. Return 2 follows Saga's investigation into a cult ritual surrounding the autopsy of the murder victim. It's also the first real foray into the world of the supernatural and its lasting effects on the real world. Without getting into specifics, this chapter also includes Saga's introduction to the overlap. Automatically switching after a cutscene in Bright Falls, Initiation 1 finally positions us in the eyes of Alan Wake and his time in the Dark Place, now made as a much bigger physical space, this time as a twisted and maddening version of New York. It's also the first time you meet the mysterious character of talk show host Mr. Door. With Alan Wake's introductory arsenal of equipment now at your disposal, Initiation 2 follows Alan seeking answers of what's going on as he ventures into the tunnels of Caldera Street Station. It's his first real foray into Alan's survival horror gameplay and his personal technique of the writer's room. The final section of Alan's introductory chapter follows Alan visiting the Dark Place version of his New York home, Parliament Tower. The secrets revealed at the end of this chapter will have you automatically switching back to Saga out in the real world. At this point in the game, you will now be free to switch between characters at virtually any time using the puddle in the janitor's break room. However, we recommend sticking with Saga and beginning Return 3, which follows Saga continuing her investigation and driving into the nearby town of Watery. Might be a good time to get a cup of coffee for this one.
How does it taste, ya?
Things will start to get darker as the events of Alan Wake 2 start to unfold. And in Return 4, you'll continue Saga's discoveries of just how much the writing of Alan Wake can affect the real world. Following a short cutscene with Agent Estevez, you'll run into a shack at the end of a short bridge. Switch back to Alan's story here to begin Initiation 4. The less we say about this chapter, however, the better. This is sure to be a fan favorite, so we recommend making a separate save state to revisit this chapter at any point you so choose. With the cliffhanger at the end of Return 4 still looming over us, we recommend switching back to Saga after Alan speaks to the unknown caller at the nearby payphone. Outside the Ocean View Hotel, you'll see another puddle to switch back to Saga and begin Return 5 as she uncovers more about her past. After the Old Gods section, we recommend switching back to Alan for a series of chapters, beginning with Initiation 5. Head to the nearest puddle to switch back and continue Alan's story to uncover the truths found within the Ocean View Hotel. After leaving the Ocean View, continue as Alan and head back on over to Parliament Tower to begin Initiation 6. Take the elevator up to uncover more truths about the game. You'll automatically begin Initiation 7 after the events of the previous chapter. We recommend sticking with Alan and continuing into the studio to complete this chapter. Once you're back onto the streets of the Dark Place, we recommend continuing as Alan to begin Initiation 8. Head to the Ocean View to pick up your ticket to Poets Cinema. We hope you enjoyed the show. After leaving Poets Cinema, head to the nearest janitor's closet and switch to Saga to begin Return 6. Continue toward the Sheriff's Station for more revelations. You'll automatically begin Return 7 after completing Return 6 and will not be able to switch back to Alan just yet. You'll also reach a point of no return, so make sure you wrap up any leftover areas to explore before proceeding to Cauldron Lake. After the events at the lake with Saga, you'll automatically switch back to Alan one final time to begin Initiation 9. Continue to conclude his side of the story. After reaching the end of Initiation, you'll begin the final 2 chapters of Return to complete Saga's story. Make your way forward for Return 8 and Return 9, and enjoy the rest of the twisting and mystifying campaign. And that's our order for the best way to play through Alan Wake 2. Do you think there's a better way to experience the game? Make sure to let us know down in the comments what you think is the optimal way to play through the chapters. And while you're down there, make sure to like this video. It lets us know if you want more videos just like this one. For more gaming tips, subscribe to DualShockers and click the bell icon to be notified whenever we post more video game guides.